future of all college relationships are around students. Everything else is important, is part of the process. But what we do in LIT is we develop students. We develop them academically, we develop them socially, and our job, our core function, is to improve students' learning. Sometimes that learning takes place in the classroom, sometimes it takes place in a workshop, and sometimes it takes place outside of where it would traditionally take place. I feel a trip like this, where the Canadian where the basketball team went to Canada, benefited those students on a learning side outside of the classroom and developed them as people.
Around this time last year, Donncha McNamara approached me. He's over the international office in LIT. His idea was he wanted to try something different with engaging in colleges in Canada. Normally they'd send like lecturers and stuff over and they do presentations in front of classes, but he wanted to try a different approach and maybe engage the students directly through sport. So he asked if we would be interested in doing something, and I agreed.
Back in 2011, the Canadian colleges, Ontario colleges, and the Irish colleges, the IOTI, Institutes of Technology Ireland, got together and decided to work on some international projects together. LIT was part of those projects, and from that we made some contacts, some relationships, and it really grew from that. What we were looking for originally was we were looking for partner colleges that could see us share things like research, student exchanges and staff exchanges. So it's going on since about 2011, and obviously there's 20 odd Ontario colleges, and we built up relationships with, particularly good relationships with some of the colleges that we visited on the basketball trip.
Actually my idea. It came down to two kind of teams. It was either going to be a rugby team or a basketball team, and we decided, because the weather could have been very cold over there and stuff, and an outdoor sport wouldn't have suited, that we said we might try a smaller group and maybe an indoor sport. And when I went through the teams, the ladies basketball would have been the most competitive, and they had put in a lot of work, so we said that we might try, and we wanted to improve basketball, so it'd be a great opportunity to maybe kickstart doing that investment.
No, the basketball team is a very active team in LIT, and we were very, we did discuss a number of teams to bring over. Ironically, one of the difficulties that you have of travelling to Ontario in October, November is the weather and the come down of snow. So we did realise early on that it would have to be an indoor team that would allow us the facility to conduct games with Canada, because obviously at minus 10 to 20 degrees in North Bay it wasn't going to be possible to play an outdoor sport. That meant that basketball got an early lift. And from there we really looked at the two teams. The sports office were very instrumental in telling us that the basketball team was great. The girls basketball team was a very positive team and had a chance, and we decided to use them as the experiment in regards to how this whole project would work. We were unsure at the start. We weren't sure whether this was going to work for us or not. So that's how the basketball team was chosen. Quite unscientific. More about an indoor sport, and then looking at the indoor sports that we had available in LIT and looking at ones that we felt would be the best participative with the sports office advising.
great. Like we got to meet so many basketball players when we went over. Especially when we went to Canada, we got to try moose, which was surprisingly nice. And they were all really welcoming, and we even went out a few times with them, and it was a great bonding experience for people who are really, really interested in basketball.
The real win for LIT was in the relationship building that went on with the three colleges, Canadore College, St. Lawrence College and Northway. So for us, it showed a commitment on our behalf to be participative with them, not just in academic projects, but also that we wanted real relationships. And that's the barrier for international education. It's really easy to send one or two people over for a week and come back. But the outputs and the generated benefits of that are quite narrow. What we saw here was our students not just sharing a game, sharing a dinner, sharing drinks, sharing a celebration of their experience with other students. And a number of those students have stayed in touch, exchanged emails, and we're aware of students coming over here next year to degree complete. And we now also have a student from the basketball team who's going out to Canada for a year as part of our Erasmus study. So the benefits are obvious to us and really beneficial, and we would expect to continue to invest in this project as it's proved very successful.
10, 9.
Definitely bonding with your team and getting to know players that you might not know, well, like you might know of them. Or also we got to see, three really nice colleges. Their facilities were amazing, and like myself, I decided that I wanted to go over next year because it would be a great experience. And maybe for some people who haven't gotten out of the country or haven't travelled transatlantic before, it would be a great experience, and especially if more teams could do it. And I'm sure if the sports office can do it next year, they will.
We really wanted to put a push on the team this year, and when we met the girls, they were really excited about going, but like we really wanted them to buy into it, and we think they did. Like they did a lot of fundraising and stuff, and they're really excited. And the trip was, they got to bond and meet each other and spend time with each other and meet other teams and realise how good they could have been. Like the standard over there would have been very high, and we were going over there not really expecting to be competitive, but just the international officers are using it as a tool to engage the colleges, whereas we were trying to go over and see where we stood. Like, so I suppose we put together the strongest panel we had available to us and went over, and we think the girls got on really good. They really enjoyed it, so that was one advantage. And they came home then, they really bought into basketball for the year, and because they knew they had a chance at winning, and to be fair, they got to the final and lost out narrowly. But another benefit for me was, like, I'm obviously over facilities as well, so I really wanted to go over and see what kind of facilities they had and setups and stuff, and if there's anything I could kind of replicate back here. And there is some things I took out of it, especially things like branding and stuff. We're really going to make a push on that.
for us, I suppose first of all to say that the whole trip was really, really successful. The group as a whole gelled really, really well despite their travel difficulties getting over earlier on. So the benefit from us has been really twofold. One, we have a group of students who come back who, after their 4-year degree in LIT, will remember their week in Canada like nothing else. They'll remember that as the highlight of what they've done with their basketball team. While obviously reaching the final of the Division 2 League is an important achievement, I'm sure the trip to Canada will be remembered. So for us, the students benefited from it.
Well, I just really enjoyed the whole experience, and I think they were really, really friendly, and they're kind of like the Irish in a way. They're very welcoming, and this year I've been out because of an injury for basketball, and I just wanted to get back, and hopefully I'll be playing by then, so I'll have something to get me to bond with this college that I'm going over with. But I wanted to try a new experience, and Canada was just calling.
Sports kind of always used as a social tool to engage other people. Like, even if we've secondary school kids coming on campus, we're always at the forefront of that. Like, they might go in and do a lecture for an hour, a guest lecture or something, to see what this college is like, and then they come to us then, and we do practicals and stuff with them. Like, but sport is always a tool that's used to to bring people together, and to be fair, everyone kind of has some bit of interest in sport, like whether it's on TV or participating. But yeah, I definitely think that I don't think that trip would have been successful without it being sports related. Like, you couldn't go over there and do a different activity. It would have to have been a sports team or something. But it was definitely what they wanted out of it worked, because again, like, the college were involved. It was a very formal trip, like, so everyone had fun, but yet, that the international office built links, like, and that was the purpose of it.
So in LIT, we're not just about the academic side of the school. We also want the students to benefit from life experience growing up. At whatever age you come to college, the social aspect of growing is very important. We see sport as a key driver of social maturity. So for us, getting involved in this project is as much about internationalising our curriculum, our academics, but really it's about our students. So for us, it was a really, really useful project, because we had so many relationships in Canada, and because we had so many students who had come to us from Canada to complete their degree, and we've had a few students go over there and study. It was the next logical step to build relationships. So up until now, we've had great relationships with staff exchanging, but we never had that link with students exchanging before. Quite often students get nervous about going over to a college for a period of time on their own. So we used the blanket of a basketball team visiting these colleges and building up the relationships. For us, it helped the students to galvanise them as a team and enjoy their experiences. But as a college, it also really built up our relationships with the institutes that we visited over in Canada.
28 Independent Awards for third personal team specific.
delighted with it. We kind of split the cost kind of 50-50 between ourselves and the international office. So, I mean, they benefited because they got to kind of use us as a tool to engage with the colleges. Like, they met top people over there that they mightn't have been able to if they hadn't brought us. Like, they might have just had to speak in front of classes, whereas it was more of a formal kind of visit. So there was a lot of I's dotted and T's crossed to make it successful. So from their point of view, they were very happy with it, and they definitely wanted to do something again. From our point of view, it didn't cost the whole pie, and it was the first time we ever brought a team on an international trip. So we're definitely looking at doing it again. Hopefully next year, but I need to meet them and sit down and see what kind of. I think they've Canada done now, so it might be like America or something. They might be looking at going to, because they just want to create links all the time. Like, their business is to get international students, and our business is to just kind of, participation and stuff. And if we can go over there and bring a team and maybe get a few good players from there to come over here and study, we're happy and they're happy.
Yeah, I think it's a great experience for small teams, especially, like maybe not a huge team, but because it was only like 8 to 10 of us, that it was great, because we were all, sharing hotel rooms, and we were able to easily get transport together, and it wasn't a big organisation to get us from place to place. So yeah, it definitely benefited us anyway, and I'm sure other teams would really, really appreciate it if they could go on something like that, and I'm sure they'd love if they could go somewhere new next year with the basketball team.
We weren't sure what would come of the trip. Like, again, when we met the girls, we thought we might get a completely different response, that we don't want to go, we can't afford to go, especially students. Nowadays they say they don't have money, but to be fair, like, they all rode in, they all paid everything they had to pay on time, and we didn't have to put a whole lot towards the trip, so it was definitely beneficial for us. We spoke to athletic directors out there, and we've built relationships with them since. We can advertise our scholarships and stuff directly to them now. So yeah, we definitely, as I said, we definitely want to do something again next year if we can. So I'd definitely be up for doing things like this.
So at the moment, Canada is probably our strongest connection. It facilitates ease of transfer. So while we think Canada is the other side of the world, it's really only a 5-hour flight. It's English language speaking, and obviously the opportunities for their students to come here and assimilate into Irish culture is really easy, and similarly for our students to go across there, it's really easy. We have a number of new connections in the US. We'd like to look at opportunities there. We have a number of college partnerships in Malaysia. We'd like to look at opportunities there for teams. So thus far, it's been the girls' basketball teams that has won, and it was so successful. We'd be happy to work with them again. But we'd also like to broaden it out and maybe bring some other teams into the fold and let them have the experience of having an enjoyable trip. But there's no doubt for us as a college, LIT is very happy with how this project worked, and it's an investment that we will be making on an ongoing basis, both from our students' experience point of view, but also from our relationships with other international colleges.